Now I know you guys are going to say, oh, he studied business. Yeah. I'm making this video to be helpful to you and sharing a no BS guide to the Ivy League, to college life, to how to lead your best life in college. From my experience going to the school that created the most billionaires in our world today. And I have to say that a lot of what you think is probably wrong, so I'm here to share the real truths with you. So I partied, fitness influenced, went to the gym every day, and basically did whatever I wanted in college, having fun with my friends and having a very balanced life. And you can too. And I know some of you guys are going to say, oh, he studied business, that's how he did that. Well, first of all, why are you studying something that doesn't allow you to have balance, doesn't allow you to, grow as a person beyond just academically? Because my perspective is I was really sweaty in high school. I got a 1550 GPA, or 1550 SAT, 35 ACT, 4.4 plus GPA. I worked really hard in high school. But when you get to college, it becomes an element of you need to grow more as a person. You need to develop into, if you're a man, the man that you're going to become, or if you're a girl, the girl that you're going to become. Learn things beyond the IQ level, learn things on the EQ level, learn how to talk to other people, how to form friends, how to work with others, and how to navigate school, which is a crazy freaking environment that I'm here to help you guys out through this video to navigate. And so what I'll say also about that is, studying business kind of plays its way into everything, and that's why I really wanted to go to a business school. If you think about it, say you want to be an engineer, say you want to study computer science or something like that. Well, when you join a company, let's say Google or a tech company as an engineer, you might do an engineering job for 2-3 years, and then when you get leveled up within the company, when you get promoted, you become an engineering manager. So your role very much becomes more business-like, more so on a managerial level, managing other engineers. Same thing where if you want to be some glorious multi-billion-dollar startup founder, like Mark Zuckerberg, he's a businessman. He's running a business. He's not, coding the day-to-day, updates to Facebook and Meta and things like that. So that's why business, I think, is really important. And I really had a great experience at UPenn Wharton. I remember from my freshman year, I went into the gym called Patrick at my school, and I saw these huge guys who were probably juniors, seniors, maybe even grad students at the time. And I remember setting the goal in my head. I was just like, I'm going to be bigger than them one day. I'm going to be cooler in the gym than them. And essentially, I led my college experience kind of chasing after that goal. And I do firmly believe by the time I was a senior, I was that kind of guy in the gym. I even won the senior superlative at graduation for most seen guy in the gym. So that was really cool. And I learned in college to really prioritize, my learning experiences and getting out there and discovering who I am as a person. That's why I got involved with trying to post content online for fitness and fitness influencing, which I can make a whole another video about. But I want you guys to realize that there is so much more in college to explore, and if you continue the high school mindset of just sitting down and studying all day, you're going to miss out on so much opportunity. And when you get out of college, when you graduate, like where I'm at now in life, you truly just got to put your head down and work. So whether you're working for a company, or in my case, building my own company, you just put your head down and get to your grind and get to your mission. So college is the most free 4 years you'll ever have. Your parents aren't there to tell you what to do. You're with your best friends, hopefully, that you find. And I think a good tip about finding friends is really just getting yourself out there. You got to push yourself. You got to grow up. Real stuff. People are going to tell you things in college. They're going to try to influence you to apply to some job, to follow some path, to apply to some club. Don't listen to them. Bro, don't listen to them. Do what you feel in your heart is going to be most impactful and meaningful for you. That is how you're going to grow in college. Listening to others is never going to take you to the places that you want to be, because that's what they're telling you to do. If you listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and simply chase what you want with no fear in college, you will be able to grow. You will be able to sprout like a root that becomes a beautiful tree. And that's really the goal of, a 4-year experience at a university, is to grow up as a person, to not be that kid that's living in your mama's house anymore. Not to say I'm not in my parents' crib right now. I'm moving out soon. But if there's anything I can show you through my videos, if you look back at my old videos, you can see me just going ham in college. And doing all that stuff. And I still ended, in a great position, graduated with my diploma, maintained a great GPA, made a lot of friends and made a lot of memories. So there was a time about a year ago when I actually wanted to drop out of school. And now I look back and I realize I was being stupid. So I was blowing up on social media as an influencer, making a lot of money, working with a brand called YoungLA. And I was like, oh, I need to full send this. I need to just full send, move to LA and just fully focus on building this entrepreneurial business of my own, being an influencer. Now I look back and I see everything as a learning experience, but at the end of the day, this Wharton degree is going to take me very, very far. It's going to help me, have a level of credibility, have a network for the future, have this foundation of business understanding that can, propel me through any initiative that I take in the future. And I think that's the biggest value I actually gained from going to a school like UPenn Wharton, is just knowing so many people that want to become successful, that push me to become better every single day as friends, that will go off and do amazing things in the future that I can hopefully collaborate and work with and learn from, as well as being able to reach out to alumni within the UPenn Wharton network. That's why it's such a powerful school, is because I can literally reach out to anyone who graduated from Wharton. Literally the current CEO of Google, I can find his email in our alumni database and send an email. I'm not saying he's going to respond, but that's what is really powerful about a school. Now, did I learn everything there is to know about business? Absolutely not, bro. And the classes you take, might even go over your head. So that's why I think it's important to kind of go in with a learning mindset and try to pick up what's going on rather than focusing on getting a great grade. But it definitely sets up a foundation for you to do well if you choose to get a job. And then in my case, I'm choosing to become an entrepreneur. So I'm just reading books, bro. You got to supplement the education. You got to keep going. But being in a businessy environment, surrounded by kids that want to do business, you do learn a lot just from talking to each other, through diving into case studies, talking to professors, all that stuff. But don't expect to become some millionaire, business whiz coming out of a business school, even if it's Wharton. So with that, what I recorded back in Thanksgiving is the rest of this video. And I didn't know my tone to really use at the time. I was still finishing up my last few classes. I was also taking some master's level marketing classes at my school. And so I shared just kind of plainly what my takeaways were from school. And I think it's helpful for anyone who's really interested to continue watching this video. But I wanted to just take this segment to really just tell you guys the real stuff, tell you guys the juice, tell you guys the bulk of it. The goal is to, embrace and love the journey getting there. And that's what this channel is for. So I hope that you subscribe. And I would say that college itself is a journey. It's every year is like an episode. Every semester is an episode within an episode. So just please enjoy your journey. Please try to get out there and make friends. If you see someone that you think could be really cool, go talk to them. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, essentially. And when you guys all leave within 4 or 5 years of your college, you're never going to see these people again unless you become friends with them. So that is my best advice from my own experiences. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. So I can make a completely separate video about why I applied to UPenn, but basically we've heralded graduates like Elon Musk, #1 richest man in the world, Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, and a number of other business leaders. So it always stuck out to me as the place I wanted to go. I felt like I could be in a really competitive environment there that would make me thrive, would put me under pressure. And I always felt like that was something that I wanted to see. And when I got to Penn, that's exactly what I felt. My freshman year, I remember applying to clubs like the consulting clubs at Wharton and a number of finance clubs, and the acceptance rates of the clubs, like you get there and you already got into the top, 5%. And I know a lot of you guys watching this will relate to this. You get there, you start applying, and these clubs' acceptance rates are under 10% too. So you're already at bat competing with all these other people around you. And if you're watching this video and you're in that kind of position, just know that it's not going to matter. I dropped all my clubs after my sophomore year. It's more of, those clubs exist to give you some initial experience with career-like things like consulting, like what it's like to be an investment banker, and things like that. But they give you a way to meet new people and kind of form an initial understanding in that way. Not at all necessary if you want to be successful. And I think that relates to the next takeaway from my 4 years of Wharton. Everyone seems to go down the path, and the school really needs to do a better job of getting kids to think more entrepreneurially, in my opinion. But the vast majority of Wharton students will go down the consulting or investment banking path. A consultant basically works for firms like McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, and they solve complex business problems basically by making PowerPoint slides. That's what a consultant does. An investment banker works for firms like Goldman Sachs, Evercore, Morgan Stanley, and others, and essentially they're the middleman between a company that wants to sell or acquire another company and then the other party, that company. So it might be a private equity firm that wants to buy this company. The investment banker works out the deal, does all the models that are necessary for financing the deal or raises the capital. They can also do things like helping a company go public, like when Uber went public, and things along those lines. So that's what an investment banker does. They make a lot of money, but you also work like 100 hours a week. And I can make a whole nother video about that. But yeah, I think you kind of start out the Penn journey trying to join all these clubs in Wharton, trying to network as hard as you can, be as sweaty as possible. And then you get to sophomore year and then boom, recruiting's already happening. These investment banks will pull kids all the way in their sophomore year for their junior internship, which would result in their full-time offer, hopefully after college. So you're basically recruiting already at 19, 20 years old for what's going to become your career in the rest of your life. And they really get you that way because you don't have enough time to really decide what you really want to do with yourself or what you want to do with your life. And I fell into that trap too. I recruited with all my friends. I ended up getting an offer from a company called Evercore. They're one of the premier boutique investment banks. They do really high profile transactions, billions of dollars, etc. But I did not end up doing that like many of my friends ended up doing. And so this is where my experience gets kind of unique. I landed that Evercore offer my sophomore year. It was during COVID too, so I was just kind of sitting in an apartment, grinding my ass off, trying to learn all these technicals, these finance technicals, and reach out for cold networking chats with all these investment bankers to try to kiss their ass to try to get an interview. Ended up getting an interview at Evercore, which was the first firm that I got an interview at, and I crushed it because I used a different kind of interview strat where I really just connected my upbringing, my story, and my experiences to exactly the type of deals that Evercore's tech group did, their technology M&A group, and really voiced the fact that there was no other better place for me to work than their firm. Basically did that, got the offer for my junior summer, which was over a year in advance from when I landed the offer in April of my sophomore spring, and then the job would have started in May or June of my junior year, so over a year in advance. But in that span of time, it was COVID, and so I was scrolling through TikTok a lot, got involved with the whole fitness community, and got really interested in just kind of like trying to post my own content because I was also bodybuilding at the time. I was really super into that, going through my first kind of bulk cutting phases, trying to learn how to get shredded. Basically, everyone just wants to get a six-pack, and I think that's a great thing to work on in college if you're a young dude. So what happened was I started posting on Instagram, ended up blowing up for doing these anime edits, and got sponsored by YoungLA, which was my dream kind of sponsor company. I was wearing their clothes at the time. I was dropping like $200 every drop, basically eating into my like initial investment banker income that I thought I was gonna make. That ended up becoming my life. I got sponsored and then started trying to be a full-time influencer kind of thing, just posting online. And I made a lot of mistakes, I'd say, along the way, but I also learned a lot and did a lot of cool things. So I basically got the opportunity to work closer with the brand in LA, and I just took it. I decided the investment banking thing. I'm gonna go to LA and just try to be this super cool influencer and help this brand grow. And that kind of completely shifted my college experience because I started getting into the mindset of, oh, I'm this fitness guy, I'm this influencer, I gotta be super cool. I started partying. I got really involved in my fraternity, which I will say if you're in the position of a freshman or anything, or even a sophomore, I would join a fraternity because you simply will get a network of brothers and best friends that will stick with you for the rest of your life. I think it was super worth it. And I'd love to talk about that more in a future video, but Penn is actually a big party school, and a lot of people wouldn't know that. You would think that the Ivies, everyone's just studying and stuff, but it's actually like all these kids were super smart in high school, and they get to college and then they just gotta let it out. Like they were sheltered by their parents. They start going crazy, getting hammered, puking in. Like literally, like freshman year, every weekend there's several kids that get murdered, which is basically they get piss-faced drunk, puke on the sidewalk or something, and then the Penn med police or whatever have to come scoop them up in an ambulance and bring them to the hospital. Happens all the time. So that's one thing about Penn. I think one thing about Penn that really, really helped me and in my college journey that I would advocate any of you guys to embrace is that partying is a good thing in moderation. If you can learn, for me, I started college as a very introverted individual, very shy. I didn't know who to talk to, I just got on this big ass campus and there was so many people doing so many different things. I didn't know what to do. And I think partying really helped me get out of my shell and make some of my closest friends and really start being able to talk to people comfortably. And I think if you're younger, you're probably like me. I got to college and I never thought I'd party, but I have to say, looking back, it was a staple piece of my experience at Penn. You really don't have a job in college. Your job is to make a network, to make friends, and have a fun time, and figure out what you want to do with the rest of your freaking life. So, highly advocate for that. Highly advocate for fraternities. I'll also say a grand takeaway of why you should go to a school like Penn or any of these top schools is One, you're going to build an insane network because everyone around you is going to be successful and you want to be successful too. So they're all pushing you to be like-minded, and you'll make friends that will go off and do amazing things that you can work with in the future. The second thing is that these top companies, name any company that you would want to work for, they come to our school and they recruit, and they're open to having graduates from our school. So that's very good. And then related to that, the third thing is that your starting salary, your earning potential is just far greater than if you went to a smaller college or something less known, simply because you have that visibility with these companies and the option to basically recruit anywhere you want to. Beyond that, it just makes your life a lot easier. But I will say recruiting is still exceptionally freaking hard. And a lot of my friends, even at my school, struggled for over a year trying to get a job. So it doesn't solve the issue, but it definitely helps. I came to Penn with the full intentions of becoming an entrepreneur. I always wanted to start a startup of some sort or own my own business, have equity in whatever I'm doing, and work for myself. That's what I always embraced, and I knew that Penn would put me in a position, Wharton would put me in a position to be able to do that, which gladly I am doing now. To be candid, I'm making this video because I'm on a mission to build my personal brand and build my personal network. And if you're watching this video, I consider you part of my network, and I want to be helpful any way I can. So feel free to message me on Instagram or fill out the type form in the description, and I'll see how I can be helpful. But that's why I'm making this video, to basically share my thoughts and help any of you guys out there that are in similar positions to where I was. Yeah, so on that entrepreneurial note, another takeaway I really took is that in college, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And what I mean by that is, if you don't want to go to class, just don't go. That's what I would do. But I'd say you have to be rational about things and make sure that you're always kind of hustling towards your goals and making sure that you're hitting your goals. Don't be afraid to get 1% better every day. And that's something that I took into account and try to do with my fitness. Every single day I try to push myself. This is the only time in your life where you'll have full flexibility, full freedom to basically dabble into any little interest topic that you're interested in. And I would do that through your classes, do that through your free time, get involved with clubs and things like that that interest you. I think the biggest mistake I made in my 4 years of college was not reaching out to my professors. Your professors at a school like Wharton will literally be friends with CEOs of huge major corporations. My marketing professor right now was on the board of Carlyle, which is the largest private equity fund in the US. Essentially, you want to take advantage of your professors, and I was being an awkward little and I didn't take the time to get to know my professors. They all just are there. The reason these people are professors is because they have already achieved all they wanted in their career, at least the good ones. They've already achieved what they wanted in their career, and they just want to give it back to students. And so they have so much knowledge to share, so much love for learning and love for taking care of their students. So I would advocate any of you guys go into a top college, make friends with your professors. Don't be like me. I'm a dumbass. Reach out to them, email them, and schedule like a coffee chat with any of them. Coffee chatting is like, all right, this is another takeaway. Wharton is just like one big coffee chatting school. Like you just coffee chat with company people, you coffee chat with other friends to become maybe business partners in something, you coffee chat with your professors, etc. But I think that's a good framework to take into account in college. Even if you don't go to a business school, set up coffee chats, and you can do that just by sending a simple email. Hey, are you free to chat for 15 minutes? I'd love to hear more about your experience in this. That's a great way you can meet new people, add them to your network, and learn a lot in college. I think that's another great takeaway for you guys. Classes. If we're talking about classes, some of the most interesting classes I took in Penn were marketing classes, actually, because I find them uniquely interesting. And I think something that a school like Wharton does that's really important is bring in speakers. So we brought in guest speakers like the owner of Lids, the CEO of Athleta in my one marketing class, kids who graduated from Penn and then went off to found successful startups like Strela Biotechnology, a lot of different people. Through my clubs, I even met like the CFO of Uber, for example, or the chairman of Carlyle, which is a huge private equity fund. A lot of those sort of industry leaders will come to a school like Wharton and give talks, and you can learn directly from them. And it's invaluable to hear their insights. And I think when you kind of take their perspective into your own terms, they can help you sort of architect what you want to do with your life and how you can maybe get to a position like theirs. And that's what I've been doing and taking advantage of. And definitely take advantage of that if you have the opportunity to. One thing that helped a lot of my friends out with is they would take super high level finance courses where they already learned modeling in Excel, learning how to value a company, things like that. Direct skills that other schools that don't have business programs like Harvard, those kids can't learn how to do those things. So a business program like Wharton teaches you those things in class, and then you can just go to the internship at Morgan Stanley, etc., and already have a great tool set in your disposal to be able to tackle that job and do really well. I think this would be really helpful for any of you guys out there. Go to class with the intention to just learn and to just apply whatever you're learning in that class to whatever you want to do after you graduate in the future. Because if you come in with a learning mindset where you're just literally just sitting there just trying to be curious about things, you'll get a lot more out of the class. You'll find you'll be more engaged and you'll actively listen to your professor. Versus if you're just sitting in there trying to grind and be sweaty for the GPA for a good grade like you were in high school, you're not really going to get the maximum benefit of it. You're not going to enjoy class for one. You're going to be stressed out about it. It's not going to really provide you the learning experience that you really want. And I think a school like Wharton really does a great job of providing you all these different classes that you could get interested in. I took a religion of anime class. I took a class on tabla, which is like the Indian drum. Things that I could just tweak my brain on that I found really interesting. Overall, your time in college is your time to figure out what I like to call your ikigai, which is 4 concentric circles of your passion, your purpose, what you can provide for the world, and what you can get paid for. And I think that really is the best way to lead your college life, no matter where you are. And you'll find in business that the more value that you can provide for others, the more you will essentially get paid. Every business solves a problem for a customer. A customer has a problem to solve that they need solved, and you provide them the solution in exchange for money. That's essentially what business is, and that's what I guess I've taken away from my 4 years of business education. And there's a lot of pockets of that in running a business. You got like operations, finance, marketing, etc., which I learned through the classes, but the best way to learn those things, I have to say, is through actually doing them, actually running a business or getting involved with a business, working for a business. But I think having that elementary learning in Wharton was a great sort of foundation to get started. I think you don't need to go to a business school in your undergrad, but it definitely is a great suitor. It definitely helps you kind of build up that foundation so that you can go off and do your thing. So I had a great experience my 4 years of college. I 100% advocate that any of you out there in high school apply to a school like Wharton. Apply to your top schools and try to get in. And if you need any help with that, message me at Dylan Dino on Instagram. I'll try to help you guys any way I can. But yeah, that was my sort of quick rundown of my college journey. And cheers to a new series of videos. I'm just going to be trying to provide value to you guys as much as I can, talking about what I learned over my 4 years in college, and things as a fitness influencer while I was there. So yeah, if you got anything valuable, drop a comment saying value, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.